Welcome to our introductory video for machine number 10. Congratulations to whoever has machine number 10. You have the heaviest of the mid-century Kenmores that are being used for this class. This is a really heavy machine, but it's also got this super cool, like mid-20th century styling going on, and is in really good shape. It's been used gently, I think, through its life. It's a good looking machine. It's a little different, and so we're going to talk our way through this side of the world over here. So all of the machines that we have are straight stitch and zigzag, but you're not doing zigzag for this class. And so there is a knob on each machine that has the ability to have stitch width. And that's this knob right here on this machine. So you want that knob turned to 0, okay? It means that your stitches are just moving forward. They don't have any width to them. They're not going back and forth, okay? So this lower knob is turned to 0. This top knob is what sets your stitch length. And again, this machine doesn't have quite as many options as some of our other machines do, so you don't have as many options in terms of stitch length. The interesting thing to me is that it needs to be sort of a little looser, on the looser side on this machine. So we have it set at about 3.5 on this knob. Okay, so that's sort of your standard setting for stitching that you want to keep this at. The other thing that's different on this, most of these Kenmores have a lever that is what we use for reverse. This machine has a knob. This knob right here is what you push to make it go in reverse. So when you want to back stitch, is what we call it. You'll see that when I do the video for sort of general information on how to sew a line of stitching. Back stitch, you push this in. And while you're pushing your foot pedal and your machine is stitching, it will stitch backwards. You let it go, your machine will go forwards. You push this button in again, it will stitch backwards, and you let it go, and it will go forwards. Okay? So let's go ahead and thread this machine up. So you want to put your thread on one of these two spindles at the top of the machine. You can use either one of them. I tend to prefer the one that is closer to where you're going to thread this over here. So I tend to use the one on the left more than I use the one on the right. Okay? So the thread goes on your spindle. It then goes across and catches through your keeper that is at the back of the machine, sort of right in line with the thread. Okay? From there, it goes forward to this keeper. Okay, and while we're on top of this machine, I just want to say something about the bobbin winding. I'm not going to do a special demo video specifically for this machine because it has the exact same mechanism and the exact same flywheel system over here as that group of machines. So that's why it's included. The difference is that where you are going to wrap your thread when you run it to your bobbin winder is in a different location. It's in the middle of the upper part of the machine, not over near this keeper. Okay? So just keep that in mind. You can check back on this video if you have questions, if you need to wind a bobbin. Okay? So you've gone through these two keepers. Then you need to go through your tension mechanism, which is the last sort of adjustment point on this machine. Okay? Your tension mechanism is a knob, and you can turn that knob, but we're going to ask you not to turn that knob unless you happen to be in a session with Julie and I, and we're troubleshooting, and we ask you to adjust it. We will adjust the knob when we send the machines off. We will adjust the knob, and we don't want you to mess with it. So don't turn this front knob, okay? What you do need to make sure, though, is that you get your thread through your mechanism correctly behind. So I'm gonna show you that here, if I can get up here and show it to you closely enough. So behind your knob, you have these little metal plates that are actually your tension mechanism, okay? And you have this little metal bit over to the side. So where your thread is going to go is down in between those plates and in front of that, okay? So it's going to do that. Then it's going to come over. This is the part that has been a challenge to demo because my hands tend to get in the way, but I have to use my hands in order to demo. This little arm, you see my thread is it's sort of holding up that little arm. You want to push this arm up with your thread there, okay, until your thread can slide behind that little hook right here, okay? Once you do that, you see I've got this arm, it's being held up here. Let that arm go, and then your thread will be behind this keeper here and under that arm, okay? So it's just a matter of lifting this up out of the way so that your thread can catch there and then your arm can come down, okay? Once you've done that, the next thing that needs to happen is you need to go through this keeper that's right there above your tension mechanism. And you can just hook that behind like that, okay? From there, you're going to go up to this arm up here where you're going to thread your thread through that little eye hole on that arm. Try not to tangle it in under other things like I almost did, okay? Then you're going to come from that arm down to this keeper, okay? Then you're going to come to this keeper at the front. Then you've got a choice of 2 different keepers above your needle. I usually, again, choose the one to the left. Just put it in there like that. Then take my thread, and this machine threads. You have a hole at the bottom of the needle here, and this machine threads from the front to the back, okay? Sometimes you get a little fuzzy bit on the end of your thread and you need to clip it. And I may need to do that. Yep. So that you have it much straighter end. And there we go. Oh, well, there we went. Well, for pity's sakes. This is the last machine video of the day. So I'm on the struggle bus. There we go. Awesome. Okay. So your threading comes from your spool over to this keeper, down to this keeper, down and through your tension mechanism, around that arm, through that hook. Then you go through this keeper here, you go through this arm at the top, then you come down through this keeper. Okay. You've got this keeper right here, and then this keeper at the top of your needle, and then through your needle. Hopefully a little quicker than what I did. Okay. All right. So that's all of your top threading. The last thing that you need to do is you need to set up your bobbin. Okay, your bobbin casing is underneath this little door. I want to pop that up, pop it off like that. Okay, reach in. Okay. This little arm, if you'll pop that and grab it, it'll just pull your casing out. Okay. This is your bobbin. You want your bobbin to be spooling off to the right as you're looking at it. Okay. Put your bobbin into your casing with it spooling off to the right. And then look at the top of your bobbin casing and you'll see this little notch right there. Okay, pop that into the notch. Then it will go underneath this metal bit there and then pull it a little more until it pops in to this hole. Okay, so then it's sort of spooling off to the left in your bobbin casing like that. Okay, this little bit here is sort of like your tension mechanism, only in your bobbin. Okay, hold your bobbin casing like this. It is impossible for me to show you with this case. There is a little notch at the top of your bobbin casing down here that this arm matches up with, and you will want to get this in there, and then you can sort of spin it until you feel where that is located, and then push it until you get that nice click. Okay, hear it? It's not moving. It's got a little bit of wiggle, but it's not moving. Okay, now your top thread, you want to hold on to that. Hold on to it with your left hand. Take your right hand and pull your flywheel toward you, okay, which will make your needle go down in. Keep turning it toward you. You can sort of see that thread down there. Swing around, catch that lower thread, and pull it up to the top. Okay, and then both your threads are on the top. Put this back on by sliding it in like that, and then snapping it down into place like that. And you're ready to go. Your machine is all threaded, and you're ready to sew.